welcome back. This is your man Warrior. This is another roster review for my patrons. This is Scogg. He is part of GGC Guardians, and I believe the A is for Alpha, which is their first guild. I'm pretty positive, but GGC Guardians, what is happening? Now, Scogg is somebody who's played from the very beginning. He is obviously pay to play, which means he spends a little bit of money in the game every single month. And I wanted to go over his arena. He is in the top 20, which is excellent, but he wants to know kind of how to get into that top 3, top 5, and how to stay there. Just initially looking at your roster, it looks pretty amazing. You got a pretty fast Sith assassin. You've got Kylo Ren in there, who is a non-Sith, so he's going to be the only one they can target consistently, which is excellent, especially if you Zeta him, which you do, I believe, have him Zated. Yep, which is awesome. That's just going to be irritating to try and go through him. And then, of course, Darth Nihilus, and you've got Darth Vader. My suggestion is, because the Sith are going to be stealthed a lot, that Darth Vader would be best to be replaced by Emperor Palpatine. You'll get stuns, you'll get shock, you'll also get a lot more damage off of basics, which are going to happen more frequently. So my suggestion, just to tweak the existing arena, would be to go ahead and replace your Darth Vader with Emperor Palpatine. Now, I just did another roster review where I mentioned this, and I'm going to tell you the same thing. To get in and stay into the top 10 takes tenacity and some crystals. You're going to have to spend your crystals, instead of on refreshes, you're going to need to spend them on a couple of arena refreshes to go up and to stay up. You're going to have to fight frequently to make sure that you get the top 10 to know your name and for them to become accustomed to you visiting the top 10. Now, you may get pushed out, but you're going to have to be, like I said, tenacious and push yourself back in, and that's going to take some refreshes. There are some in that top 10 that don't want you there, and they're going to do everything in their power to push you out. You're going to have to, for probably a week, let them know you're here and you're here to stay, and that's going to take some of that. Now, you wanted to know some other teams, and because you're kind of sold out on Sith, I wouldn't really recommend this for everybody, but because you have such an uber strong Sith team, you basically have every Sith pretty much maxed out almost. I would actually recommend, as possibly your next Zeta, being Savage, and putting Savage in there as well. And the reason for that is he is phenomenal as a Zeta ability in a Sith team. Everybody I've recommended it to who's done it has not regretted it. They actually appreciate Savage and what he can bring to the table. With Sith Assassin can do damage directly to their health and stun them, and then Savage can come in and do his his overpower and just destroy them if they're under 50% health, which Sith Assassin can do pretty quickly, even if they have a full bar of protection. So the Sith Assassin Savage combo is pretty awesome, especially for Sith. So you may find you want to put in Savage instead of Emperor Palpatine or instead of one of the others, and it will definitely keep your team alive a lot longer. He is amazing. So that's my recommendation for your next Zeta ability, and also as a possible fill-in. And then, of course, your Sith Assassin's fast. Just continue to try to develop as many mods as you can for Sith Assassin. You want your Sith Assassin to be faster than everybody else's. The last I see is you're in a great guild and you've got a lot of characters, but one character I do not see that you should be hopefully getting shards to is General Kenobi. Now, there are a lot of team comps that I would recommend, including your Sith team, where I would recommend General Kenobi in there, and you don't have him for me to recommend him. So if your guild is getting you General Kenobi shards, then excellent. If your guild is not, it might be time for your guild to start attempting a heroic AAT. Hopefully they are already pouncing on the heroic AAT and you've got shards, you just haven't hopefully unlocked him. But get him unlocked and max him out. You need General Kenobi for sure. Now, as far as an alternate team to the Sith, really the best alternate team is going to be a Rex lead because of the Sith. He's going to get, every time they crit with his Darth Maul lead, you're going to get turn meter, and this is going to really speed your team up. And then, of course, you're going to pair that with Chirrut and Baze. And currently, you're developing Chirrut and Baze both 4-star, Gear 7, Gear 8. And so what you're going to want to do is make sure you continue to develop Chirrut Bays, because this team I'm suggesting to you isn't viable yet for you, especially for the level that you're at. You're going to have to get these guys maxed, Gear 10, Gear 11 before they're even going to be sort of viable as an alternate team. With that Rex lead in the Chase combo, you can also put in Darth Nihilus, which you have really pretty much maxed out, and he's totally viable at 4 stars. And then the last I would probably put in that slot, since you don't have General Kenobi, is your Kylo Ren Zeta, and that's going to make that team extremely powerful, and you can really cut through this current Sith meta where everybody in the top 20 is trying to use Sith. You could use your Rex, Chase, Darth Nihilus, and Kylo combo to really just chew through those teams and get into that top. Again, like I suggested to the other player, don't take the number 1 slot. Everybody wants that. If you really don't want to, if you don't want to tick everybody in the top 10 off, go into the top, the 3rd or 4th slot and kind of start to camp out there. Try it every time you get bumped, go back to the 3rd or 4th slot. When you get bumped, go back to the 3rd or 4th slot. Just keep doing that so they can kind of come to an acceptance that you're in that slot. And then when you decide to climb, it's going to be a lot easier in the future for you to do that, because even if you get bumped out of the top 10, you'll be now 10th or 11th or 12th place, and then you'll have a smaller climb to get to your number 1 slot during payout. So there's that as well. As far as your fleet arena, your ships, you're doing really well in there too. You're in the top 30, which is awesome. Truly, in this first initial lineup, the 2 ships that I would probably remove would be the Jedi Consular ship and the Umbaran Starfighter. Jedi Consular is great and the Umbaran Starfighter is great, but I would probably have Biggs, Sunfac, Slave 1 like you have, but I would actually put Rex in for Jedi Consular. And then I would put in your Wedge ship for the Umbaran. Wedge is much faster and hits really hard. And so you're going to get a lot more damage and more speed off your initial fleet. And Rex is going to put target lock down, which is another target lock ship, which you kind of need. And he's also going to help with turn meter and protection regeneration, kind of like what Jedi Consular does as far as protection regen. So he's going to help keep your team more durable, but he adds that target lock you need in your initial 5. I know you already have Slave 1 in there, but he's going to help keep Slave 1 alive. And then in your backup lineup, I would recommend, with all of your ships, your backup lineup, I know you don't have Scimitar very high. You need to get Scimitar maxed out. He's your number 1 ship priority. Get him level 85 as far as the ship goes. Get his abilities leveled up on this ship and get him in your number 1 slot in your ships. And then you can go ahead and put in your Jedi Consular in the number 2 slot. He'll come in, call assist, plus he's going to bring up protection and whatnot. He's excellent in your number 2 slot. And then if you really want to use the Umbaran Starfighter, because of his, it minimizes his turn meter giveaway that he's going to give, put him in your backup in the number 3 slot. He's extremely durable, and when he comes in, he's going to give you that ability to kind of be durable at the end with your Jedi Consular and whoever else is left standing. So that would be my recommendation. Your Biggs, Sunfac, Slave 1, Wedge, and Rex in your top 5, and then your Scimitar, Jedi Consular, and your Umbaran Starfighter in your back 3. Those would be my recommendations. Definitely you have Kylo Ren's ship. I would continue leveling up his abilities and level up his actual level. And I would definitely make the Scimitar, which is directly below, an even higher priority. I know you got some of his abilities leveled up, but continue to level up all the abilities. Scimitar should go in your favorites for ships, as well as your Kylo Ren should go into your favorites for ships. And then lastly, the last ship I would recommend, or the last 2 that I would recommend that are in here that you could kind of keep working, would be your First Order TIE Fighter. This is an excellent ship as an alternate to bring in for someone like Jedi Consular if you need a little bit more target lock or a little bit more damage offensively. And you could also work on Poe Dameron's ship. This is an excellent X-Wing, one of the most powerful ships as far as attack, and one of the fastest ships as well in the game. So I would definitely recommend this ship. So the 4 ships that I'd recommend you develop and put in your favorites is Kylo's scimitar, or Kylo's ship, the command shuttle right here, the scimitar, which is down here. Of course, put that in, and then of course Poe and First Order, which are to the right. You can see both of them. So anyway, I think you're doing excellent. You're on track. I think you can get into top 10 easily with the team you have, but you might have to switch out Darth Vader for Emperor Palpatine. And then the other thing is you could put Savage in there if you decide to Zeta him. I think that would be super fun. As always, I hope this has helped you, and everybody who's watching, keep your gaming on. Warrior out.